All right,
No,
so
I'm driving in.
Hey, afternoon, everyone. And Ismini, you can see my screen, 2 tabs, no bookmarks, right?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. We do have a pre-submitted question. I'll get to that in just a moment. Sorry for starting a minute late here. We will let, if you have questions, as always, toss them in the chat, toss them in the Q&A section, or just use the raise hand functionality, and we will then we'll unmute you and get you the opportunity to ask a question. So just a quick moment. Let me pull up our question here. Okay. All right, so first question here is from Lynn. I'll put this in the chat here, and then John, I'll get to your question after. So this is a tough one to do on lunch and learns here, but let's see what we can do. So Lynn's question is, can you provide some guidance on how to use a repository server to migrate a project from development server to production? So what I would first say is definitely look at our repository document, but really there are 2 main things. Is my local connected to a repository? Let me check. Designer repository settings, it's connected to sharing. Okay, I'm not actually going to check anything in or out, but I'll just show you. So in you check in using right-click actions, and you check out from a system folder. That's the sort of long and short of this. So let's assume I have a folder here called Auto Search Box. Now, Auto Search Box is not part of a project, and I can tell that because if I look on the right-hand side, the project column is currently null. Now I can add Auto Search Box to a project, and I would do that by right-clicking, going to Designer Repository, and clicking Add to Project. Now this only exists because it's not part of a project yet, and I could contrast that with this example lab project here, where if I right-click and go to Designer Repository, you'll see an expanded set of actions available. So this tells me, and I can see the project here on the right-hand side, and I have the changes, or I have the expanded action set. So based on those 2 things, the project showing up in the report, as well as these action sets available under the Designer Repository category, I know that I have something that's part of a project. So I can add this thing to a project, and it'll tell me it's not part of a project. And here's a list of projects. Do you want on the local system? Do you want to add it to that or create a new one? And I'll just say new test project, lunch and learn. And I'll click continue. It'll prompt me. I'll say I want to add the folder and content here. I can include or exclude particular items. You almost always leave these selected. Click next. It's going to say, here's the stuff that I've added to the project. Now you can see on the right-hand side, it's part of new test project, lunch and learn. And all of these items are in that project. And I can click commit now. If I click commit now, it's going to ask me to sign in to the repository server, which I'll do here. But again, I'm not going to actually commit this project. And then it's going to say, okay, this is the commit screen. Here's the items that you're going to commit. Now I can select or deselect the particulars, and here's the comment. And let me log into sharing so you can see. We can get a view of this. So here, I'm going to add some comments, say, initial check-in or something. And then I'm going to select the items. And once I do that, that's going to let me check a project in. Which looks like I'm having a connection issue to the repo. I would then click commit, and it would either throw errors or it would commit everything, at which point I would now have committed the project to the repo server. You can see here on this design repository, I have 639 projects. I'm just going to go to the folder view here. So let's assume I can find one. So here's a generic task application. A generic task application has 3 check-ins, each of which it has a revision number, and then it has resources. It currently only has a trunk. It doesn't have branches, so we can create branches. Those branches would show us folders on the left-hand screen. So we can create branches and check into individual branches. So let's assume I just had selected commit here, and then I would get, and I was in this project, and I would have gotten 6790. I would have a new revision number. The message comes from my comment, and now I would have added content, or I would have updated my project in my repo. So let's assume I've done that, and let's assume I'm no longer on dev. I am on the prod server now. Then what I would do to check it out, it comes to System, Designers, Repository. And you'll see here, these are the projects I currently have checked out on my production server. Again, I've logged in and out, right? I'm on my production server now. And I could check out a new project. And if I find this, I bet I can find whatever that thing was and check it out. So this is what, generic task. Let me search generic. So there's generic task application. I've selected this, so I can see it only has trunk, though it might have branches. If I click advanced, I can specify a date or a revision, but almost always, really, you should be doing either the head release on trunk or really branches. You create a branch for a new release. And you can do, and you'll see this in all of our documentation about how to merge branches and how to do all of the version control maintenance that you need to do for normal source control in the repo server. But you can, I'm gonna check out the generic task application. I'll check this thing out. Here's all of the items that I'm going to check out. I'll click update. It's going to then download those from the repo server onto my local. You can currently see it's downloading. This will refresh. And then I'm going to click import. Now it's going to show me my import screen where it lists off any resolutions, if I have, if any. Because it's taking a second to render, it might not have any import resolutions. It might just be importing. And I have checked out the current version of the generic task application, whose branch is trunk and current revision ID from the repo server. And so that at a very high level, Lynn, is how I attach something to a project, check that project into the repo, view that project in the repo, and then check that project out onto production. So you check a whole project into the repo server, you get that project tested on test. By doing checkout on test, everything's good. You've done a series of cycles on that project development. You probably create a branch, which you can see as an action in the repo server. In fact, if I come here and say create branch, I could create a branch from trunk, version 1 release. And then I would have a branch for version 1 of generic task application. And then I could check that branch out so that I can have a release version that I can switch to on dev. So if I need to make hot fixes to what already exists, I can do that. So any questions about that? I know I burned through that pretty quick, but it's that really is the designer repo at a use or interaction at like a 30,000 foot view. If you'd like, you can come off mute if you have any questions about that. Otherwise, we'll just move on to the next customer's question. Yeah, can you unmute yourself? You have permission to talk. I saw the hand raise go up.
Oh, hi, thank you very much. So I just have one more question. So if there are any changes happen after the project go to production, if I change in dev server, so I can just check in the changes and then check out in production, right?
Yeah, that's where a branch comes in. So you would want to, this is trunk. So you want to do all your development in trunk, and then you will cut branches for your releases. And so let's assume you've got your project. You've started building generic task application. You built it. You got it tested as ready for deployment. create a branch from trunk called version 1 or whatever you name it, right? And then you're going to check out version 1 onto production. Now, your users are going to hit a problem in version 1. So what you can do is come back to, let's assume you've already started checking more things into trunk because you're working on version 1.1 of your project. You can come and say change branch. So you can switch dev from trunk to version 1, make your change, and then switch it back from trunk, or switch it back from version 1 back to trunk once you've made your hot fix. So you can keep the repository server allows you to swap your dev server back and forth between the branches, and usually in our best practice is to use branches as your releases. Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, thank you. So if we have small changes, like we can just put in version 1. So if you have bigger changes, for example, we can have a version to another branch, right?
Correct. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and anything that you find that's missing in our documentation here about that, please let us know. But thank you for the question. Happy to help you. Happy to help out as you get some into the repository server use more. So
okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so John, I'll allow you to talk. So John's question is, where is it at here? I see it here. Quick question regarding the advanced data grid. How do you remove the delete option on each row of an advanced data grid? Okay, let's figure that out. So create a root folder here for myself.
Just remember, just in case I'm using version 6, I don't know if there is a difference there, but
it should be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So advanced data grid, delete action, hide. All right, so let me just get my stuff set up. I'll create a flow. I'll put a form. I'll fetch accounts. I'll pass the results into my form. I'll create my form. I will delete this grid. I will find my advanced data grid, which is data grid advanced.
Yep.
I will put a button here. On my advanced grid, I will select account as my type. My info mode. Does it matter what the info mode is for this?
I'm using inline edit because I need to edit some fields inside. So, yep.
Okay. Account data. The output data name will be the same. I'll say account. Account data. Okay. And right now the show actions is deselected. So let's save this. Go to button here. We'll pass our entity results from our fetch entities into our data grid, and we will save this and debug. Okay. Oh, I didn't set up my data grid as appropriate. I'm sorry. Let me come back in here. I have to add columns and such. Edit advanced data grid, accounts, email address, created by, created on, so on and so forth. First name, last name, whatever. Okay. Debug. Okay.
You see,
so if I left click, I see delete. Yep.
Yeah. I want that to be removed because I don't need it on my use case. So
yeah, great question. Oh, I'm sure we can hide this with CSS. I don't know that we have a way to hide this right now, but I'm almost certain we could apply some CSS to this if we needed to. Classes show tooltip for action.
Because really, I couldn't find any option inside the advanced data grid. I mean, on the simple data grid, there is an option that says do not use the delete option, and you can remove it. But on the advanced, you can't. So I don't understand why.
Yeah, this might be a holdover just from the inline edit, something we didn't catch. So I can actually, if I left click, it shows me delete. If I right click, it'll show me all the actions. So I think what we should do is, and I don't know, I'm sure we can hide this with CSS if there's not a control. So what I can do, John, is get a ticket open for you in support and have someone send you some sample CSS for how to hide that. I'm certain that with a CSS change, we can hide this thing, make it not show.
Okay.
So category, entity ID, data action name, delete. Class is action text center, text overflow ellipsis, span is canvas holder. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll ask someone on support to figure out how to hide this with CSS, and then send over that sample CSS with some docs about how to apply it for you.
Okay, I don't know where I need to apply this CSS code inside, but they will send me all the information directly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yep. Can I send you? I don't know if what email you have registered here, because I'm using a direct link that this person John Headley sent me, but I'm another person. So can I send you my email? I don't know. Or...
Yeah, just email Sabrina. Sabrina, is it just Sabrina@decisions.com? Is that your email, Sabrina?
Correct. How is the email?
Yes, if you would email Sabrina, please, SABRINA@decisions.com.
Sabrina directly, Sabrina@decisions.com. Okay.
Yeah, we'll get someone we'll open up a support ticket and have someone reach out for you.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I just need that. And the other question, I take the chance to ask you one more, if there is a way to do it. I don't think so, but I'm using this advanced data grid because I need to filter the columns. I need to be able for more. One of the columns is the most important one that I need the users to be able to filter by the values they got inside. So above this advanced data grid, I got another table which is related. I've already asked these questions on another sessions. The above one, it has locations, which is a simple data grid. And then below we got an advanced one with line items that has a related. Each of these has a related location. So what I wanted to do, what I did was basically adding a legend that if they want to search for a location, just copy the value from the table above with Control-C or whatever, and then paste that. Click on the filter icon, paste the value, and click enter, and it will filter the table. I wanted to know if there is a way, or if they can click on the location number on the table above, and that would make an action that would complete the filter automatically on the advanced data grid on that column and filter. Is there a way to do that, or like JavaScript or something?
So it depends. Like it's the cell. Like the cell you click in would be. I want to filter the bottom one by created by and admin@decisions.com.
Let's say we got the created one, and you want to filter by the email, and you got a bunch of emails on a simple table above, and instead of copying that email and filtering by Control-C and Control-V, just clicking on the table above on that field, on that on that value, I mean, or admin@decisions.com, for instance. And when you click there, automatically that will complete the filter on the column created by and filter by that value.
But it could be first name as well, right? Or last name.
Whatever. It's. I mean, it would be it would be a specific column. I want them. Let's say it's first name is that column we are talking about. And you got name values on a simple data grid above this one with name values, and you click on a name, and that will complete the filter on first name and filter that one. Let's say you click on Will on the table above, and that will filter on the table below. Is there a way I can do that on decisions? Because
I'm just trying to confirm, is it at the row level or the cell level that you're asking?
The click
I can filter, I can have a dependent data grid below this, and if I click this row, it would filter the row below it, but it wouldn't be able to differentiate email address against first name based on where I click in. That's what I'm trying to get clarity from you on. Does that make sense? It's not at the cell level, it's at the row level.
I don't understand what you mean. You mean when you click to filter, that's at the cell level. I mean, you click on a value. let's do a better example. Here you got users, for instance. Let's say you got a column called category, okay, with the name of the category, and then above this table, you got another table which is a simple data grid that has a list of categories. Right. So then when a list of categories with ID and description, okay, with two columns, and then you go to a specific category on the table above, and category B, and you click on the name, and that will complete the column on the advanced data grid, the filter, and put a B there, and like clicking enter directly.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
The same approach here for like, this is a drop down, but it should apply for data grids as well, where you can create dependent drop downs, or you could create a dependent data grid. I'll post this in the chat. This same pattern applies to a drop down list.
Okay.
Oops, I need to do everyone. I'm sorry. The same pattern applies to drop down lists as well as data grids. You can use this same pattern for what you're asking. So yes, you can absolutely.
Excellent. I'll check this out. I'll check this link out and see if I can make it work.
Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sending the email to Sabrina for the other thing.
Yeah, we'll get a support ticket opened up and get someone from support to handle that for
you. Just wondering how much time should this take to have a response with the CSS or whatever, so I can tell.
Someone should get to it today. Probably get it complete. I don't know if they'll be able to figure the CSS out today. When at 1 to 2, like by sometime tomorrow afternoon at the latest, I would think.
Okay, yeah, it's 1 day or 2 days at the most. That's okay. I don't know if it maybe it take more than a week or whatever.
No,
I was asking. Okay, I'll send the email. Thanks.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, so Maria's got a question. Is there any information on how decisions behaves in Windows 11, or will there be? We don't expect it to behave any differently. So we don't run on Windows directly. We run on .NET framework in 6 and older, and .NET Core and newer, and thus we don't foresee any issues, since the support for .NET respective to framework or core should be the same between earlier and later versions of Windows. So we haven't tested it yet, but we don't foresee any issues. In my time here, I've seen maybe one operating system issue, but we almost never even troubleshoot Windows Server versus Windows 10 or Windows Server 2019 versus 2008 as it relates to our application, because all of that certification and validation occurs in Microsoft as they release new versions of .NET that has support for the different systems you can run .NET on.
Okay. One of my clients will ask, 1, and 2, I volunteered to be the Windows 11 guinea pig, so I wanted to check it out before I installed it.
Yeah, go ahead and just install it. I don't foresee any issues.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's run. I don't think I've ever fixed an issue by just looking at the operating system as the culprit.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I could, dot my I's and cross my T's when someone asks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And just as let me type. I always forget to put these questions into the right place. I'm going to just drop these into the chat. The questions we answered earlier are going to be now in the chat if you guys need access to those. All right. Who else has got questions for us today? Okay. Anybody have anything else? We're about halfway through the hour, so. Again, if you guys don't want to type your question out, just use the raise hand function. I'll just give you permission to talk and we can chat about your question. Okay. I'm going to assume no one's typing a question out right now. And if that's the case, since I can't actually see if you're typing, then we'll go ahead and just call it an afternoon. I believe Morgan will be here tomorrow. I definitely won't be here tomorrow or Thursday. Just a note, please let everyone know at your orgs that works with decisions or just wants exposure decisions that we do these. We're tracking attendance. We want to make sure these are super successful and valuable, and we keep investing in them. So the more people on, the better. So we can definitely use your help to ensure that we get a good community built up here. So appreciate everyone for joining. Hope you learned something, and we will see you at noon Eastern tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. All right, have a great day. Bye.